Hello, my beautiful people. Last day in Kyoto. Our first stop is breakfast at a nice cafe in Kyoto. We've walked by a few times. Please excuse my inability to say the name properly. I'm trying. Sanenzaka Ninenzaka. This is our main stop for today. A very traditional tourist area to capture Kyoto's beauty. That leads up to the Yasaka Pagoda. It looks way more beautiful during the day than it did at night. Luckily, we got here early enough before the crowds, so we got to walk around without feeling suffocated. I would suggest going before the shops open to be able to walk up and down the street without too many people. It's such a nice walk down the street just looking at the shops that maintain the old traditional charm of the buildings from back in the day. If you didn't know me already, I'm a huge anime nerd. Studio Ghibli is one of my favorite animation studios. They had a whole store dedicated to all things Studio Ghibli, productions and products, tucked away in one of the shops on the street. We are now at Glanta to make some rings. We made reservations online prior to this experience, and I would totally recommend you do the same. As you can tell, I love any experience that is hands-on, so this was a perfect fit. There's an option for them to make the rings custom to your liking, or you can get your hands on and make them yourselves. We decided on making the rings for our partners. We start by choosing the type of metal, size, finish, and style. We get to work on these one step at a time. This wasn't my first time working with metal to make rings or jewelry, but definitely a first for my hubby and friends. They actually made it more simple by already having the rings in the basic sizes and thickness before having to resize to the specific size, style, finish, and shape we want to make it. As you can tell, our instructor was very proactive working with us. She was very good at speaking English and very accommodating. For some reason, we lost the footage of my hubby's POV on making my ring. But you get to see my POV on what we had to do to make his ring. We started off by heating up the metal to make it more malleable to shape and style. Now, down to filing to smooth out the rough edges of the ring. Once the entire ring has been filed down to a good texture, we will work on resizing the ring and also creating the texture we picked out.
Oh, so close.
We wanted the more dented, hammered texture for our rings, so that's what we went with.
Okay.
Using the ring rod, we sized up our rings to our fingers.
Yeah. Okay.
Since we're on our honeymoon, we decided on making it for our ring fingers as our wedding band. Although we already have a plenty of wedding bands to change out.
You have to hold on to the ring with your...
If you notice, you'll notice. We have different ones for different days, reasons, excuses.
Ah, it's stuck.
Once we finish hammering the ring size and texture, we are on to polishing. We didn't want it to be a perfect polish, so we went with a more rough texture to give it a more handmade feel. Finally, our instructor engraved the inside of our ring. You can't see it here because the camera didn't want to focus, but we put our initials, heart, and then date. We made it in Japan. Lunch at Wakana, which was a limited menu of the Wagyu donburi with a side of pickles. And a pit stop at Pokemon Center, of course. We finally ended our last night in Kyoto at Sukiyaki Yunabe for their sukiyaki set menu. To be honest, the presentation and food was very aesthetic, and it was a big draw on social media. But the food was a bit too sweet. Literally sprinkled a whole bowl of sugar into the pot to caramelize the Wagyu beef cubes, and it was overly sweet. I mean, I understand that there are cuisines catered toward the sweet and salty combination, but this was way too sweet for our taste, and it was a bit on the pricier side. It was also a lot to handle for all of us to finish, but that could also be because the food itself was so sweet that it felt too heavy for us to eat it all. Even the sukiyaki at the end was made in the same pot with all that sugar and beef marinade. So the soup and veggies were all too sweet. This wasn't for us, but it could be for you. So you've been warned. But definitely a restaurant for the gram. Thanks for watching!